All of the speakers raised the point about addressing inequality as an institutional problem instead of an individual problem.
I think there's a wonderful synergy that can exist between people who are doing research and people who are doing practical work on the ground to learn from each other.
I'm also morally and politically concerned about inequality, and if I want to do something about inequality, I need to be interacting with the people who design policy, who design the law, implement the law.
It always strikes me how relevant the conclusions are from developed countries for developing countries. Whatever we do on this subject should be policy-oriented and should be outreach-oriented.
Inequality is a global phenomenon. It's important to understand that these aren't problems that are just specific to particular groups or particular nation states or particular histories. Any social problem that you want to solve is better understood when there are multiple perspectives and multiple tools for measuring, analyzing, creating interventions.
So today there was a really clear message that the data on inequality is inadequate, particularly in developing countries. So I think it's really important to keep this conversation going, to invest more in collecting data and measuring the differences in economic inequality and other inequalities.
You have to understand before you can do anything, basically. You have to understand what's going on, you have to understand the arguments, you have to understand what's happening to inequality, you have to understand the consequences of inequality.
The conversations that we're having here today are really important because, first of all, they're raising awareness about inequalities out there, and they're allowing us to look at the roots of those inequalities, how they're perpetuated through different institutions.
From me, from a kind of practitioner point of view, we definitely want as many people as possible to come along to events like this to really get a sense of the overall direction of travel in academia, to get out of our kind of particular way of thinking about problems and see what experts are saying on it as well.
I'd certainly recommend a conference to others, particularly those working in the field.
Events like today are really important in bringing together academics from across different departments, which is something the Inequalities Institution has done fantastically over the last year.
There's something for everybody in this conference. There's qualitative work, quantitative work. It's bound together by the shared commitment to really try to understand inequality.